Hey plant friends, it's summer, and you know what that means. Hang out at the pool, icy cold drinks, and the sun is out till bedtime. But it's not all fun and games. Things have shifted for your plants too. And I want to talk today about some summer plant tasks that you need to take care of right now. The icy cold drink can wait. We've got plant work to do. The first plant task that you need to take care of right now is cleaning your windows. Spring often brings with it rain and pollen and wind and dust. And all of those things collect on your windows and create a film. And any sort of film on the windows obviously is going to block some of the sunlight coming into your plant space. So take this opportunity to clean not just the inside but also the outside of your windows. And don't forget your screens. Give them a hose down and a vacuum off, and your plant space will be better lit. Speaking of light, the second summer plant task that you need to take care of is reevaluating your light. With every season comes a change in the angle, the intensity, the duration of sunlight coming in through your windows. And so every season you have to reevaluate how much light your plants are receiving. It might be too much, it might be too little, and they'll have to make adjustments. I'm going to bring you over here and show you a real life example of how I've had to deal with that. This bank of windows is east facing, and through most of the year it's bathed in just a beautiful morning light, and most of my plants really appreciate that. Now in the summer, the sun has been rather intense, and a few of my plants have not done so well. This begonia has reacted by getting really crunchy. Too dry, too much sun, he's unhappy. Now I don't think I've killed him. There is a little bit of new growth happening, so I'm gonna chop off some of these really crispy leaves and keep him out of the direct sun. Similarly, my Philodendron Brazil, who usually was thriving in this window, some of the leaves were starting to get rather bleached out, and so I moved him just 2 feet away from the window, much happier. The third summer plant task that you need to be doing right now is fertilizing. Summer is generally a time of rapid growth for your plants. They're pushing out new growth, new leaves, getting taller, and in some cases flowering. And that requires additional nutrients that they're not able to get from the soil. So a good fertilizer is a great thing to be adding to your watering right now. I use a super diluted fertilizer that I use with every watering. It's just simpler for me because I don't have to remember when I did it and when I need to do it again. I will link the one that I use in the notes below, just so that you can have a reference for that. The fourth plant task that you probably need to be taking on right now is repotting. Because this is a season of rapid growth, you may find that your plants are outgrowing their space. How do you know if it's time for repotting? Well, you're very likely seeing roots either at the top of the pot or coming out the grow holes below. Another signal to me is that when I water a plant, the water just runs right through. Now that is the case for this ficus plant. I'm constantly having water spill out all over the floor when I water it because there, I suspect, is just a really large root mass. In any case, I'm also seeing roots at the top of the pot above the soil, so it's time for a repot for this one. The fifth summer plant task to take on right now is to divide and or propagate your plants. Because this is a season of rapid growth, it is the perfect time to propagate. Why? Because any propagates that you are cutting are going to form roots more quickly, but also your mother plant will recover more quickly because it's able to regrow. So it's a perfect time. I won't talk a lot about that today because I've done a number of videos both on here on YouTube and also on my Instagram page showing exactly how to divide and propagate lots of different kinds of plants. I will link to some of them here for you so that you can go look if you have specific questions. The last plant task I want to talk to you about today is taking your plants outside. Now, I will take you outside and show you some of the plants that I have moved outside and some of the plants that are well seasoned for that. But before I do that, let's talk about the cautions. What do you need to be careful of if you are moving plants outside? The first thing is too much of a good thing, too much light. Now, even shade outdoors is more natural light than plants are getting inside. So plants need to be acclimated, meaning move them out into a shaded area for a few hours each day for maybe a week, and then keep them under shade and gradually move them into more light as it appears that they're doing well. Another caution to look out for is wind. Wind happens outside, doesn't generally happen inside. So the leaves, the stems, may not be sturdy enough to handle big gusts of wind. So if you know that that's common in your area, be sure that the plant is in a protected space. Third, insects. There are a lot more insects outdoors than indoors, thankfully. And so it's just something that your plants may have to deal with when they are outside. So constantly checking in on your plants. Don't just put it outside and forget about it, but as you're watering, looking around and make sure that insects haven't made their home in your plant. And the final caution is too cold. So in my area, I live up in the mountains, so while it gets quite warm during the day, sometimes it can get rather cold at night. So if it's going to be definitely below 50 degrees, you want to move your plants back inside. That is too cold for most tropical plants. I tend to err on the side of caution. If it's anywhere below 55, close to 60, then I'm moving my plants close to the house or all the way inside. Okay, let me show you some of my outdoor spaces that I have plants. The first space I want to show you is my balcony. So on my balcony, I have moved Dracaena, 2 of them actually, an aloe and a jade plant. And they are tucked back near the house, so they get very little direct sunlight, but they are getting a lot more light than they get just a few feet further inside, protected by these doors and windows. On my front porch, in addition to my annuals, I've brought out a couple of pots of Rex begonias. They are pretty shaded over here, and they seem to be doing very, very well. Now, I purchased this pot already put together, and I'm certainly going to be taking this lovely Boston fern inside when the season is over. On my back porch, I have a couple of pots of succulents, a croton, and more begonias. Now this croton actually came outside, not because I was intending to keep him outside, but because he had spider mites. So I gave him a shower, and then he seemed happy outside, so I've had him out here ever since. Again, these are protected under cover, don't get any direct sunlight, but the succulents are very happy where they are. So I've come to the end of my icy cold drink and the end of my video as well. My top 6 summer plant tasks that you need to take on right now. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And if you've successfully moved plants outside, I'd love to hear about what plants have done the best outside for you. Until next time, my dear plant friends, let's keep growing together a greener world.